Hi everyone. I haven't been here for a while because sometimes stuff happens and your life gets really rubbish and then you spend a year recovering from it and then you're like, wow, I'm finally feeling back in my creative zone. And then you decide I should do some aerial hooping, and then you fall off the aerial hoop whilst wearing 7-inch heels and you break your wrist. And then 3 months later, you're finally like, wow, yeah, I can do things again. Anyway, I don't know if anyone else relates to that, but so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to go through a bunch of weird, cursed Doctor Who merch. A lot of it's really personal to me. I was mostly just thinking about my childhood and I wanted to talk about it. But I'm going to do a tier list. The tier list is totally vibes based. I don't necessarily have like oh, it needs to be this or that. I don't care. We're going in and we're putting it in the tier list. Okay? Good. First off, we have Doctor Who's Anti-Dalek fluid neutralizer. This was from 1965. It's a water pistol, but it's totally branded as Anti-Dalek fluid neutralizer, which I don't know. I don't know if that's ever existed. It sure is a water pistol that they stuck some Doctor Who branding on. So you know what? It's gonna go. It's pretty mid. You know what, I'm going to put it in C because, you know, it doesn't have to be Doctor Who. It's kind of a cool water pistol though. I'd quite like one. Second up, we have the Battles in Time cards. I don't know if anybody remembers the Battles in Time cards. They were a huge thing at school when I was at school, which was, I'm not going to tell you when that was, but you can figure it out based on the fact that I was trading a lot of Battles in Time cards at school. And I remember they had like instances of loads of different really random characters. So like the famous one is like Sinister Woman, who is just kind of stood I think she stood behind Francine in 42 maybe, when they're recording her talking to Martha, and like just a woman with like maybe one line, which honestly, if I was an actor and I got the role of Sinister Woman and I got my own Battles in Time card, I'd be elated. I said as if I was an actor. I am an actor. So that's real. That's very real to me. Give me a Battles in Time. Give me a random. I'll do a Battles in Time card. I don't care. Okay. Anyway, the Battles in Time card. I don't know how you played that game. I just remember trading them, and kind of kids at school being like, "Oh, this one's worth this many, and if you have like a super rare, then you have to trade like another super rare or two rares or three. I don't remember. It was something like that. So I'm having a lot of fun with these. So I'm actually going to put them in A tier. Again, it's like one of those things where you would beg your dad to buy you a pack from the shop after schools. This is all capitalism. All of this is capitalism. So all of it should be directly in D tier. But no, we're supporting capitalism if it's Doctor Who themed. Next, obviously, there was all the action figures, and they had one which was just destroyed Cassandra. This one's a pretty famous one. This one's a famous one when it comes to like rubbish Doctor Who merch, because who would want just Cassandra's frame? But I think it's kind of iconic. Like, it was absolutely that era where they were like, if we stick Doctor Who on it, the kids will buy it. Because I had all of these. Like, this was the thing that people gave to me when I was in primary school. Like, I don't think I ever had a destroyed Cassandra, but it was like, oh, it's Leah's birthday. Let's get her a Doctor Who figure. I remember one of my friends being like, do you have the little blue guy from the first series as a figure? And I was like, no. And so she got me the box of Balhoun for my birthday, which was fun. Anyway, destroyed Cassandra is going to go in D tier because, let's be honest, it is terrible. Did anyone buy that? Comment below if you had destroyed Cassandra. The next one is the Decide Your Destiny books. I had a bunch of these, so I find them fascinating now as somebody who's into fandom culture, because Decide Your Destinies were essentially like second person written adventure stories, like choose your own adventure stories. And I suppose like those kind of second person choose your own adventure stories, they have a lot of really interesting history. I remember getting some from the library when I was a kid. That's actually something really interesting. I would like to kind of go into that a little bit more and see what the history of that is, because it is great. But as someone who's into fandom history, now all it makes me think of is like read it, insert your name fanfiction. And I just kind of love that essentially that was published. I do remember there was one I was reading, I explicitly remember reading it at my granddad's house, and I got really annoyed because they would always avoid using pronouns. So they would always avoid your character being talked to as like he, she. And I remember explicitly Martha said something like, get off him. And I was reading it like, hey, yo, what? My pronouns are she, her, actually, bitch. So yeah, that was like, I remember being kind of disappointed that they'd clearly been thinking about boys when they were writing it. But that was only one instance where they messed up and used a pronoun. So I kind of loved these. They were kind of great. So I'm going to put it in B tier because I'm sure they weren't incredibly, like an incredible work of art, but they were a lot of fun. Next up, we have the Bird's Eye Fish Fingers. So this is kind of cheating because this isn't something that was available to the public. These were unsanctioned and only one was made, and it was sent to Matt Smith in 2013. So I assume this wasn't actual Bird's Eye that made this. I should probably have looked over my notes a little bit more. I'll put some more information on the screen if I find it. But random fish fingers that have Matt Smith on because of the fish fingers and custard thing. I mean, it's just fish fingers, isn't it? So it's just gonna go to D because it's fish fingers with a picture of Matt Smith on. That is exactly the kind of Doctor Who branding that was happening though, particularly in the 2000s, where they were like, fuck it, just slap David Tennant's face on it, we don't care. And I would have bought it or begged my mum to buy it. The Flesh Goo Pod. Okay, I have never seen one of these in real life, I don't think. I've just seen the images of it. It seems to be fleshy slime with some bits of Matt Smith's Doctor in it, which is fascinating that they were like, this'll sell, this is brilliant. Again, I don't know, did anyone have the Flesh Goo Pod? I suppose slime and goo is fun. I liked a bit of slime. I once put slime in my brother's hair and then discovered that it doesn't come out of hair. And I think that slime was actually a free gift from Doctor Who Adventures comics, so it would have been like Dalek slime or something. And yeah, I put that in my brother's hair and then couldn't get it out. And I don't remember whether we had to cut it or wash it out. Just remember my dad being quite annoyed at me. But yeah, it's a bunch of slime. I kind of respect it though for like who came up with that and was like, this is something. So I'm gonna put it in C tier because again, it's just slime, but I respect it. The Doctor Who Fubes. So for anybody who doesn't know or is perhaps not British, because I don't know if they do them elsewhere, Fubes are like the little plastic thin yogurts you can get. It would have been in the 2000s, primary school, every lunchtime I had a Doctor Who Fube and each of them had a different character on. And it was really exciting if you got one with like the Doctor or Rose on it. And then kind of boring if you just got like a random Slovene or something. They sure were yogurts, and I do remember loads of kids having them, and it made me eat my yogurts. You know, I was very happy to eat them because they had Doctor Who characters on. Again, it was just something they slapped Doctor Who branding on, so it'll go in C because, you know, it made kids eat yogurts, and yogurts are good for you, I think. The K9 figure that I've got here is from that really awful K9 reboot show that happened. This is one that I feel like completely got lost in Doctor Who history. No one remembers that this happened because it was so weird and the K9 redesign was so horrible. I think it was set in America. I don't remember. And I think I watched like the first episode, the first 2 episodes or something like that. And I remember even as a kid when I was like, I'll watch anything that's Doctor Who related and I'll watch most things and enjoy them, even if, you know, it was just stuff. I was like, this is quite bad. I don't care to finish this, which is insane because at that age, like, again, I would just watch anything. So I suppose like as a toy, it's absolutely fine, but I absolutely hate that redesign, so it's going in D because I hate it. Okay, so I found these little Matryoshka dolls, and apparently they were exclusive to Australia, made by Icon Collectibles, and I really love them. I think that's such a cool little idea, like having, you know, the little Russian dolls that go inside each other and being little dogs. I love those dolls. I think they're really cool. My auntie always had some on a shelf, and I would obsessively like open them up and put them inside each other as a kid. So I actually kind of really want these. I imagine they're going for quite a lot of money now. Tell you what, let's do some research. Can we find some of these Doctor Who Matryoshka dolls? Ooh, you can get them for about 60 quid on eBay. Australian dollars 119, so yeah, approximately 60 quid on eBay. Yeah, I suppose if they're worth that much to you, then wonderful, but I probably wouldn't spend 60 quid on those, but I really like them, so they would be cool to have. So I'm actually going to put those in A, because I think it's a fun little idea. I think they're a cool collectible. Yeah, I think they're fun. I like those. So next we have a 3D clay image, a clay picture of Tom Baker's Doctor. So this is from 1979. It's, yeah, a 3D clay picture set. So I imagine what you did was you got the different coloured clay and then you shaped it into the shape of the Doctor coming out of the TARDIS to see a Dalek. Maybe he was going on a little date, you know? The colours are quite weird, I suppose, because they would have to be, because it's made out of clay. It seems very 1970s. It's one of those things I don't know if they still do these 3D clay pictures. Did they have a lot of them in the 70s? Seems fun. It's just something that already would have existed, and they kind of were like, let's do a Doctor Who version of this. But I quite like it. It's fun, it's creative. I'm going to put it in B, because, you know, it was always good to get kids to like make stuff. Making stuff is great. Magic the Gathering cards. Unfortunately, I now know how to play Magic the Gathering, and I wasn't really that into it when the Doctor Who cards came out, so I didn't buy any of the packs. And now they're going for like crazy amounts of money, so I was like, damn, I should have got those. But for Christmas, my lovely partner got me a proxy version of the 10th Doctor Commander deck, which was actually really fun to play. I kind of love them because, to like the abilities that the cards have, it's clear that whoever wrote them knew the characters. So the example I've got in here is Adric, and let me just read Adric's character abilities as a Magic the Gathering card. Ultimate Sacrifice. Sacrifice Adric. Counter target activated or triggered ability, which I really like because obviously Adric died to, you know, I suppose try and do something. I suppose in the actual episode he didn't really help anyone by sacrificing himself, but I like that the card has the element that is important to the character, if that makes sense. I don't know if I explained that very well, but I do really like the Doctor Who Magic cards. However, I'm also aware that the universe is beyond that Magic keeps doing, so that's like when they do Doctor Who cards, when they do Final Fantasy cards, Avatar ones, I am aware that it's very much like, hey, it's this thing you like, you can now play Magic, and it's very capitalist, it's very try and get people to buy them. But I do really like them, so I am going to put them in A tier, unfortunately. Wizards of the Coast. If you don't have to support them, don't. That's all I'll say. This one is the make your own sonic screwdriver kit. I never had this, but I really wanted it. Did you have the make your own sonic screwdriver kit?
We nearly got them for a sketch.
We nearly got them. That was it. Okay, so we were gonna do. So we have a little Doctor Who fan film. If you're not gone to watch it, go watch it. And we wanted to have like our own sonic screwdrivers, so we very nearly did buy these. We didn't in the end, but I do really like them as a kind of like, oh, you could make your own, have your own kind of, what would your Doctor have as a sonic screwdriver? And I love that. It's fun. So I think Again, I never had them, so I don't know how good the kit actually was. I'm going to put it in S tier just because I love the creativity of it. I think it's a really good idea. And I love all the different like little attachments that it's got and things like that. I think I found this just like scrolling around random Doctor Who merch for sale, but this is Doctor Who pin art. This is one where they've truly just stuck Doctor Who branding on it, because it's one of those pin things, where you can put your hand in it and it makes a hand shape or whatever. So I assume it came with like some TARDIS shapes or whatever, but like that's just pin art, and then they stuck some Doctor Who stuff on it. So that's going in D because that's lazy. Next we have the Doctor Who conic screwdriver pizza cutter. We saw this in a charity shop and we're like, that costs nothing, so we'll get it. It's useless. It's a really bad pizza cutter. It's supposed to make a sound. It doesn't make a sound anymore. Obviously, it's really hard to wash, so you have to take that out and then wash it. It's basically useless, but we own it. So that's going to go in D tier because it is terrible. Pop Funkos. I don't know how everyone feels about Pop Funkos. I have a couple of Doctor Who ones over there. They're gifts that people have got me. I feel like, as someone who's kind of into nerdy stuff, often people will be like, oh, we need to get them something for their birthday, for Christmas, whatever. We'll get them a Pop Funko, and it'll just be something random. So, again, it's quite nice when I get a Doctor Who one. I've got a 10th Doctor one, I've got a 13th Doctor one, I've also got a Black Widow one, and off camera, you cannot see my housemate's incredible collection of Pop Funkos. He literally has hundreds. Very impressive. It's just not for me. I find them a bit sort of like, again, consumerist. I don't really like their little dead eyes. I don't like the way they look at me. I think maybe having like one or two can be kind of cute, but they're not for me. But no shame to anybody who loves a Pop Funko. It's just like when you go into a nerd shop and now everything's just like, it's wall-to-wall Pop Funkos, and I'm like, where are the comic books? Or like anything else. Okay, so I kind of hate them, but at least they are the thing they say to be, you know what I mean? They've not just taken something and slapped some branding on it, so I'm going to put it in C. This is really specific to me. This is the free portable radio player, free with Doctor Who Adventures subscription. It has nothing to do with Doctor Who, but I consider it Doctor Who merch because I associated it with the subscription I had to Doctor Who Adventures magazine, which is very much like a kid's magazine. I remember it being horrible. I remember it being crackly. I remember the little plastic earphones being absolutely rubbish. I remember like trying to search for a radio station, even though I wasn't really somebody who listened to the radio. I just had it. I would just listen to it and I'd turn on random radio stations and I had no idea what was happening, but I feel so much nostalgia for it. So because of that, even though it's literally nothing to do with Doctor Who, it's just something that I associate with it, it's going in the B tier. Another thing is that I would read the magazine and it would say, you can get a subscription, you get a free radio player and you get free P&P. And I was like, I want a free P&P. I don't know what free P&P is, but I want one. Turns out that means postage and packaging, and I was just, a 7-year-old who didn't know what that was, but I was like, wow, a free thing. The Doctor Who role-playing game. I haven't played this, and I don't know how I feel about Doctor Who as a kind of space to role-play in, if that makes sense, like as a universe, because it is so vast. Like, I understand why you'd have a Star Wars one. I understand why you'd have a Star Trek one. I understand, like, even like a Witcher one. Those universes are very self-contained and they make sense as like a kind of sandbox to play in. Doctor Who is so incredibly vast. I feel like, I don't know, has anyone played using the specific Doctor Who RPG rules as well, rather than just like doing your own homebrew? Like, I'm kind of interested. I kind of want to know what it would be like, but at the same time, it feels so big, I don't know where you'd start. I suppose maybe if you wanted to be like, okay, we're doing a story that's set on Gallifrey, like pre-Time War, we're doing a story that's, I don't know, set, it's a Torchwood one, it's a unit one, something like that. I can see that working. And also because, you know, usually like the Doctor is the center of that story, and how much is there to play. You know how Doctor Who spin-offs, they're never quite as well received as maybe the main show. Actually, maybe that's a lie. You know, Children of Earth is great, Sarah Jane Adventures, fantastic. War Between was pretty good for a number of episodes, and then kind of lost itself. But yeah, I don't know. I've never played this, so I can't really fairly rate it, but I love the idea of it. Anything where you can kind of get involved in the world yourself, and a role-playing game that isn't Dungeons and Dragons is great. So I'm gonna put it in A, B. I'm gonna put it in B tier because, again, I can't really be like fair about it. So let me know if you played it and if you think it's good, if you think it's bad. The Shaker Maker. This was something in the 2000s. I think there were a lot of different Shaker Makers. I don't know what other branding they had, but this was the Doctor Who one. And I remember basically what you did was it had like some kind of clay, sandy stuff. You would mix it with water, I think, put it in this like cup, and then I think you shook it and left it. Is that what you did? If I find like an advert or something, I'll put it in.
All you do is add the powder, give it a shake, let it dry, open up and paste.
I definitely had this. I must have made some little TARDIS and Dalek figure. So you'd shake it, it would fill the mould, and then probably leave it to dry, and then you'd open it and you'd have like a little solid Dalek and TARDIS figure. I think I probably painted them and they probably looked awful. You're making something, which is great, but it's not really that intricate. What happened when you made them? They went on your shelf for a while and then you probably chucked them away after a year. So we're going to put it in C. In the UK, we don't really have Hot Topic. When I was, on Tumblr in like 2013, 2014, Hot Topic was an absolute dream. I was like, my God, I wish we had these places in the UK. And they sold this TARDIS dress that everybody was absolutely obsessed with. And I did really want it, especially in that era, like 2013, 2014, where the skater dresses were super in, like the sort of twee aesthetic was super cool. And yeah, I wanted this TARDIS dress. Looking at it now, God, I wouldn't wear it now. It does look cheap. It is kind of fast fashion-y. But this had a chokehold on the Tumblr girlies, the Doctor Who Tumblr girlies. And, it was like, if I'd worn it to school, I would have felt so cool. I would have been bullied, but I would have felt so cool. So I'm gonna put it in B tier. Am I gonna put it in A tier? B tier? No, I'm gonna put it in A tier because it clearly worked. It clearly worked for people. It was clearly something people wanted. I did actually get to go into a Hot Topic when I was in America in 2018, and genuinely, like, although I think by then Hot Topics were just like not the same as they were in like their peak, I assume, in 2013, 2014. Again, this is all from the perspective of somebody who didn't live in America. But I did get to go in one when I was in America, and I was like, oh my God, it's like visiting a holy place. The Doctor Who Time Lord Distress Cube, which is from an episode written by, I don't know who wrote that episode. It's such a shame. Anyway, I think this is just a cube. Time Lord Psychic Container by Character Options, and it lights up. Okay, so it's got like some different colour lights and stuff. I think that might be quite cute as like a little night light. At least it is something, like it would be nice as a display piece. It's not like too tacky. I like the Ouroboros symbol for the Corsair. It's quite cute. I'm going to put it in B tier because I think I would probably have it on my shelf and just have it like glowing some different colours. But again, I'm one of those people who is like, well, I can't be bothered to turn it on. Like, it'd be cute to have something that glows different colours, but I'd have to turn it on. and that requires getting up and switching something on. I haven't seen one of these in the wild yet, but I came across it and it immediately, I was like, I hate this. Yeah, so this is the Titan vinyl. It's the 15th Doctor. I assume they were trying to cash in on like the popularity of a pop Funko, but this thing terrifies me. I really hate it. I hate it more than the pop Funkos. Like, I think the pop Funkos at least have a sort of kind of design that works for them. This just feels kind of awful, and I'm so sorry to Ncuti Gatwa for his face being on this. I really hate it, so it's going in D, because who designed that? I'm so sorry, it's not good. An absolute classic of weird Doctor Who merch is obviously Doctor Who underpants. So the ones I've chosen to represent this is the Tom Baker underwear from British Home Stores, RIP, from 1980. And you know what? Like, I'm pretty sure I'm going to say this now. He's like in his 20s and he'll kill me. But my little brother definitely had Doctor Who underwear. I'm sure he did. I'm going to ask him, did you have any with like David Tennant's face on it? Because that's so funny. I'm sure they did exist. Doctor Who underwear. Brilliant. I think if your face is printed on somebody's underwear, you've made it really, haven't you? So, you know what? We're going to put it in S tier. Because I just think it's beautiful that something can get so popular, you're like, oh, we should stick this on everything. Fuck it, let's stick it on underpants, you know? Now, obviously, I think for a lot of these, it's on, you know, kids' underwear. That makes sense. You want some fun underwear when you're a kid. When they start printing it on adults' underwear, that's when I'll be interested, okay? I want Tom Baker's face on my underwear. I don't know if any of this is actually going to go into the video because it's getting a little bit weird. Let's move on. There was the Doctor Who Top Trumps game. Top Trumps, they were a pretty big thing in the 2000s. Are they still a pretty big thing? I don't know. I can't say I've played Top Trumps. But maybe they were the precursor to playing shit like Magic the Gathering. And I love playing Top Trumps. I would defeat anyone at Top Trumps me. I don't think there was actually any skill to that game, was there? You would just, like, both draw a card and then have to decide who had a bigger card and then, I don't know. But there was a DS game of Doctor Who Top Trumps. I think it came out on other platforms, but I remember having it on the DS. And it was literally the card game, except you were playing it on the Nintendo DS. Now, Doctor Who games generally don't have a very good reputation. I don't think there's ever been a good Doctor Who game. I've not really played many of them. I thought about doing the virtual reality 13th Doctor ones that they had, just because we had a headset, but I got told they weren't that great, so I never delved into them. And I remember they had the 11th Doctor ones, and I remember not having a laptop or a computer that would have been able to run them. And I don't remember how much they cost, but yeah. I know Doctor Who games have never been that great. Now, the Top Trumps game was just Top Trumps on the DS. It wasn't very good. So I'll put it in C tier because at least it was something to do, like if nobody wanted to play with you. As, you know, most Doctor Who fans, we don't have a lot of friends. And if nobody wanted to play with you, you could just play on the DS. So it'll go in C tier, but it wasn't good by any stretch. I found some walkie-talkies shaped like the 9th Doctor and a Slitheen. So apparently these were made by Character Options. I don't know what year. I've just put in my research 2005 question mark, because surely it must have been 2005. And again, just fascinating. Why would you be like, we're going to make Doctor Who walkie-talkies? Well, okay, Doctor Who walkie-talkies. Walkie-talkies are fun. I can see them branding them. But then when you decide to make them the shape of the 9th Doctor, okay, I can understand that, and the shape of a Slitheen, that seems like an insane choice to me. Why not make the other one Rose? Or make it the TARDIS? Or, I don't know. Why is it a Slitheen? Maybe I think they must have thought maybe like that, because there's a lot of Slitheen branding on stuff, and I think maybe before the series came out, they were like, oh, these are the bug-eyed green aliens of this season, so they're going to go really, they're just going to go down really well. The people are going to love them. We'll put them on everything. So yeah, they're walkie-talkies and they're really weird. I'm not going to put them in D tier because at least they're something, and they're something interesting, and they're fascinating the way that it's like, why would you do this? So I'm going to put them in C tier, not D tier. I'm going to put them in C. We have a Weeping Angel plush. Sometimes you just get to a point where you're like, we'll make a plush out of anything. And it feels a little bit weird because for me, plushies, they're cuddly toys. You're supposed to cuddle them, right? You're supposed to cuddle them at night. And who in their right mind is like, I want a Weeping Angel one? Although I would highly respect any kid who's like, I wanna have a Weeping Angel plushie in my bed at night. Like, if there's kids out there who that's what they want, amazing. You are ultimate weird little girl, weird little boy. You will grow into a great person. Okay, I respect you. So, Weeping Angel plushie, I personally would stay away from it because Blink terrified me as a wee child, and I don't know if I could have that anywhere near me. So it's kind of a weird one. I see why, because it's a popular monster, and then if you make a plushie, so I'm gonna put it in B tier, I guess. Yeah, I'm gonna put it in B tier. Doctor Who and the Daleks Sweet Cigarettes, made by Cadet Sweets from 1964. So, back in the 60s, it was, you could just have those sweets and you could call them sweet cigarettes because it didn't matter if you were encouraging kids to smoke. Whereas now I think they're always called candy sticks. Because I did used to get them as a kid and I did used to pretend they were cigarettes. I just find it really funny. Why are they Doctor Who branded? They're sweet cigarettes with some Daleks on them. It's incredible. I'm going to put it in S tier because it's just brilliant. It's just beautiful. This was another weird one that I found. The Doctor Who pinball machine. So I have some lore about this. Let me find it. This was a pinball machine. It was made by Bally Midway Manufacturing. It's from 1992. So the wilderness years, which feels like a strange time for them to bring out something like this. And just read the notes. It has an unusually complex rule set, which made the machine somewhat unpopular amongst casual pinball players, but has since made it more collectible to pinball aficionados. So apparently it was a really complicated pinball machine and is now a collectible. I don't know if you would be able to find this anywhere. I don't know if there's any going. Again, let's look it up. Let's do some research. Well, there's a Wikipedia article on it. Oh, there's a Doctor Who pinball machine for sale. You can get it for £8,895. So, babe, do we have £8,000 that we can spend on a Doctor Who pinball machine?
I'll check behind the sofa.
Okay, well, if we find £8,000, we're getting the Doctor Who pinball machine. I've never played pinball in my life. I want it though. So yeah, if you've got £8,000 lying around, you can get the Doctor Who pinball machine. Fascinating. Ooh, okay, so the main feature of the game is the time expander unit. I'm just getting into what was going on here. A moving mechanism with different levels where players are challenged to lock balls and collect targets, leading up to the game's main multi-ball mode. A Dalek topper and the show's trademark blue police box on the lower right of the playfield round out the unique Whovian traits that appear in this game. I love the art. It's horrible. It almost looks like shitty AI art before the shitty AI art. It's better than shitty AI art though because it was made by a real human, and it has much more charm than AI could ever create. So anyway, there's some interesting information about the Doctor Who pinball machine. I kind of love it. It's going to go in S tier just because why does it exist? Why was it so complicated? What is that art? I love it. Last but not least, maybe least, is the Doctor Who Mr. Potato Head. I remember my brother having a Darth Vader or Darth Tater potato head. This one, I think There's a 10th Doctor one. I seem to remember there being an 11th Doctor one, but I might be lying about that. It was Mr. Potato Head, made by Hasbro. Oh, it was in 2014, so there must have been other... If it was in 2014, there must be other ones as well. I don't like it very much. I don't like the way it looks. I assume you could... Because usually with Mr. Potato Head, you can take it apart, can't you, and put things back together? But, like, what were you changing? I don't know. So, anyway, yeah, I never really got Mr. Potato Head. Just a bit generic in it. So that's a bit of a rubbish one to end on, isn't it? But I'm just going to put it in C tier. I'm really glad I just spent a portion of my life doing that. I think, you know, I've learnt a lot, including apparently I really love weird old merch, particularly. Yeah, do you have any of this? Tell me, because I want to know, okay? I didn't actually have that much of this. Now I think about it. I had the Fubes, I had the Shaker Maker, I had the Decided Destiny, the Battles in Time cards, and then some other stuff that I've got. But like most of this I didn't actually have, and maybe I wanted it. And if anybody wants to send me those fucking Matryoshka dolls, just send them to me. I'll take them for free. I recognise that you shouldn't do that because they're worth clearly a lot of money, but just send them to me for free, please, because I really want them. Okay, bye!